Hey guys, this is Zem from Shrek Gaming, and I was gonna do just a little video here on map awareness. This video, this actual game right here was a perfect example of a lot of things that were done right and a lot of things that were done wrong. So now on this map, which is used to be called Swamp, I guess they call it Slough now. But anyway, um, especially when you spawn from this side of the map, anything going up the 8-9 line will it's a hard play to make unless you have a whole bunch of mediums or a whole bunch of tanks in general. Because as soon as you get the C around the D area, the ED on the 9-0, uh, the enemy team will set up around the corner on C7 and shoot you as you go across. So it's not a very it doesn't work, right? It's a hard fight to win because you have to cross so much open ground. Especially if you have some fast TDs, like that Strev. Obviously, they have a fair amount of mediums and light tanks, and a Scorpion and a Charioteer. Those tanks can be setting up around like the B7 area. And it's literally a murder zone if you go that way, and it typically doesn't work well. And you can see in this game, actually, there's a number of people that actually kind of understand that. There's the mediums and whatnot are coming over here to snipe as the heavies go up the hill or up into the castle. But we do have a few that are going north. Now, at this point, this is what I always talk about in a lot of other videos I do is you have to count tanks, right? So if you don't have the tanks going to a certain line, there's no point in going there, right? All you're doing is throwing away your fucking tank. So these two are, for some reason, they'd made it a ways before I don't know if they didn't realize or were watching the map or whatever, that, going up there by yourself, the two of you, that's just two dead tanks, right? That you will do nothing. You have done, you will get rushed and run over, right? And they do, I calmly and very nicely asked them not to go that way, and luckily they did pay attention. They come back. Now, the typical way I like to play this map is win the castle. We already see our heavies moving up, TDs moving up, and clear the castle out and win that first. Because there's always going to be, typically not always, but there's usually at least one or two heavies that'll go down the 1-2 line all the way up to the castle, and they're usually an easy kill. I mean, they're usually easy to finish off. The only problem about not taking the 9-0 line is you do give up a lot of map control, right? This is pretty much standard fare. Map control is important, but we have a bad jet that's actually sitting out there trying to spot, get a couple TDs overlooking him, which will help. We're sitting here waiting to see if we can nail this E5 coming up the hill, but he's not going to poke for us. So we're now we can readjust here. Once again, looking at the map, you can see the red that's coming this way. On this other side, you get three heavies that moved up into the castle, which works out great because they're literally crossing a fire line to get up into that castle. So it's a kind of it's a win for us if we can nail that, nail those heavies going up. Now on that, even me being a pretty good player, even I make mistakes in this situation. I knew there was light tanks there, and I didn't play my tank as I should have. The T30 is a hold down beast, and I got a little lazy there, and I moved up to one side to see if I could take a shot off a Waffenpanzer, and I got lit by a T49. And obviously, you've seen here me getting hit by an E4, and again by a Mutz out in the deal, out in the 9-0 area. But so now as the game progressed here, right? So we've cleaned the castle out. Now I'm just going to slow down here for a second here so I can talk so the game doesn't progress too far. Now you can look down on my mini map here, and you can see the number of light tanks and medium tanks that are sitting down here, plus a Proto and a plus a M103. Now at this point, this is where they should have stopped. They've already won that. but they're not looking at the fact that we have literally 2, 4, 6, 7, most likely 8 tanks coming in on the 9-0 line. Now you can almost watch this map as it rotates. You watch us here. You'll watch the green keep going down the 1-2, and the red keep coming down the 9-0. So that's effectively leaving me, a Udes, and a T50 with some artillery support against 8 tanks, right? And the team, the ones on the 1-2, they just keep motoring, right? They for some reason totally lose sight of the fact that we have our base is in jeopardy. We're outnumbered, and all that happy horse shit. But they keep motoring, right? So this is that map awareness that we keep talking about. That, yeah, you occasionally do start losing your focus, and you get all kind of worked up and crazy, and you head out and do whatever you're doing. But this is something to keep in mind, that you got to keep that part of the game always in mind. Your base. Where's the majority of the red tanks, right? So now, as I said, you can still keep watching them as they're motoring down the 1-2 line. There's absolutely no regard for base. There's no regard for the fact that we're overrun. None of that. They're just going, right? So, but luckily, this plays out. This is one of the points where you really want to play your tank, the strength of your tank, which for me, luckily, happened to be the T30, which has, a very good turret. And I'm in a position right here where I can play that torrent to my advantage. I can play hull down here and make them come at me. And in this situation, luckily I have a T50 that's actually supporting me, and it lets me keep them lit for these guys, lets me take some shots on these guys, and I totally doofed that one. I did get him stopped, but the fact that he completely missed him, yeah, it's just part of the game, I guess, right? I can't believe that shot went low, but it does. So, but anyway, we're back to the game. So we got 2, 4, 6 of them against the 3 of us. The T28's, he's not paying fucking attention. He's most likely watching a YouTube video as he trolls along there. Has no idea what the fuck's going on, but that's expected. It's just one of those things that it's a pubby game, right? So he's out of position. We're getting rushed here by a T49 and a T54 lightweight and everything else. And here's one of these. Me being in a T30, I can't quite get around on it fast enough, and I donked a shot. Now, this right here is another thing. As a light tank, this light tank that came in after me, okay, so he circled me, he got one shot in, but then he decided that he was going to try to keep circling me, right? So that's really hard to do when you do have support from, say, a medium tank. But instead of taking his one shot, maybe taking 2 shots, and then motoring out of there so he doesn't get shot, he didn't. He ran and he decided that he was going to try to keep circling me, and he run into the wall, and obviously he died. But if you're in a medium tank or a light tank, and you're in a situation like this, your best bet is probably just to take the 2 shots and leave. Now, the other point I should have pointed out right away. Now, you look between us and our cap, right? We have to cross open field to get to that cap. So at any given point, the Sheridan, the 54 lightweights, or any of them tanks could have got on cap, right? So what does that do? Well, that cap does is it draws you out. It's going to make me get out of my nice little hole right here in my nice strong position that I'm in, and make me have to go to cap. I don't know if the other team just completely lost it or what, but yeah, they did not take advantage of that map positioning to move into cap and hold cap, making us come out of our spots here. But that's always something to think about too. Watching that map and watching the map positioning. It's not easy to fight a hull down T30, right? It's pretty hard to do actually. Unless you got some big derp cannons. T-30s will bounce 90% of the shots you shoot at them unless you hit the cupola. You know, same way. You know, when I do have some backup support here with the T-50. You know, he's sitting back here trying to keep him alive, keeping him so he can get his reload in. But like you said, this is something to think about when you're about your map positioning. Is always making sure, you know, where's the enemy cap and what can I do. Do I want to fight a hull down T-30 with support? You know, that's never a very wise idea. It's not something I like to do or would want to do. You know, so now we've evened the game back up. We were down a little bit here, and we're still fighting. We've still cleaned out most of the enemy tanks over here. We still have a Sheridan 54 lightweight and a Muntz. You know, we're not down a whole bunch of tanks, but now the problem on the north is that they did have the advantage early on in the game, number-wise, and right now, you know, there's the Sheridan has moved back. The other Sheridan has moved back, and you know, they're not as they're not as safe as they once were. So now they've lost the number. They've lost the advantage to numbers, right? And now they're going to be fighting a few. The Sheridan going back. Now you see our Sheridan going back. Their Sheridan going back. This is, you know, they're not paying attention. They're not watching that. Here comes this Sheridan. So now they're on a 3-on-3. Their Sheridan leaves, and they're going to be shortly outnumbered, right? So the Skoda, you can see in this, the Skoda and I both start moving up because we realize that, okay, so the Sheridan's left, so it leaves a 54 lightweight. He's left. So now where are they all at? Well, guess what? They've all moved back to the other side of the map because with their speed and mobility of light tanks. Now the 54, the M103, and the rest of them have pretty much had dicked around for this part of the game. You know, they don't like to, nobody wants to get shot by an E4, right? We get that, right? But yeah, it's not hard, right? It's a simple counting game. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have 6 tanks. They have 4 tanks. You know, you have the numbers advantage. But this is, like I said, one of those things that you know, with map awareness, realizing what you have, what you don't have. You know, so now since the 28 Proto didn't actually move up or anything, the 103 is now considerably outnumbered. You know, he has little or no chance against 4 tanks and an artillery piece. So now, at this point, our Skoda moved up. I think he was trying to get in to get some shots on the rear, but the problem is he's also separated himself from the rest of us. So, with that many tanks and that many light tanks faced off against us, he's not going to last long enough to get to kill both of them. So, and I took a risk here. I decided I wanted to cross over. I wanted to go help the Skoda, and with the two of us together, you know, now we actually have a legitimate chance taking on 4 tanks that are going to be facing off against us here. If it would just been the Skoda and I would have been sitting back here trying to somewhat snipe with a T-30 gun, it wouldn't have worked out well. So I moved up next to him. You know, you don't want to split up in these situations where you're pretty much even tanks. Everybody's kind of low health and whatnot. Now you see in this part of the video here, I know the Skoda's watching that way, and I know we also have to watch our rear end because, you know, obviously we have a Waffenpanzer and 2 light tanks, and at any given time they know where we're at. So there's also at this point too is they also don't know I'm here, right? I hadn't been lit. They know the Skoda's here, but they don't know I'm here. So I was kind of hoping that eventually one of those guys would have tried to come around the backside here and try to flank the Skoda, but they didn't. And, you know, now it becomes kind of a waiting game because the E4 moves over. You know, the Skodas cannot take a hit from the E4. I can't take a hit from the E4. The 28 Prototype's almost dead anyway. You know, and for some reason, this I don't get right here. The Waffentrager pulls out and he has HE loaded. Okay, we're going to slow down the video again here. If you have an enemy tank that's easily within your average damage spread, I don't care what it is, you do not load HE shells, even if it's a Scorpion or an RHM or some 10 millimeter 10 millimeters of armored tank, you do not load HE ever, because here's why: unless you hit the right spot on that tank, you, you will hit a gun barrel and you'll do a third of what you normally do with HE shell, or you'll hit a track, right? So a shot that you should have hit for 560 and finishing him, or whatnot, you hit him with an HE shell and do 280. You don't kill him, you just hit him with HE, right? So yeah, so now you half your regular damage because you were trying to go for that one shot on that tank. So please, in tight situations, do not load HE. It's just a bad choice of ammunition types. Now, obviously you've seen here in the Waffen, he did load HE. He shot the Skoda, and he only did half of what he normally would have did with that one shell. He very well could have finished off, or pretty damn close finished off that Skoda if he would have been firing, an AP round. But so that like I said, that's one of those things late in game that you have to be aware of. That I had a game not too long ago where we had a full health Waffenträger almost lose to a grill with 30. He actually had 30% of his HP left, and he went up and tried to HE this grill down. Well, he kept shooting the grill in the gun barrel or the tracks. He was doing damage, but he literally should have killed him with the very first shot, but he didn't. The grill almost finished him off. I mean, literally 100%. And all he had to do at one point was to load AP, but he fired 2 HE shells and almost lost it. Don't. All right. I mean, think about this for a second. Okay. So my rant over with. Let's get back to the game. And like I said, this is game's tight. This is one of the deals where you don't want to make mistakes, and everybody makes mistakes. You've watched me earlier in the game flub 2 shots, right? I mean, that happens. Luckily, the Skoda saved me on one of them that I should have made him that close. He needed to die, but luckily the Skoda was able to save me, and I'm still kept me in the game. Like I said, that T-49 had me by rights. So now here we're kind of a face-off. The Su-14, to a certain degree, is not in position. Now here actually is another part of the deal: is if you're in a fucking light tank, make sure you have 6th sense, right? This should be one of the first things you'd have is 6th sense, right? He didn't. So he literally lost his tank, and most likely the game, because the fact that he did not have 6th sense, right? You see him pull out, he got spot, and he's dead. So now, like I said, we're doing a little bit of, this is what could have happened to us earlier about getting, with part of the map awareness. We know E4 is over there. He's faced off here. He's sitting here waiting for us. So the Skoda pays attention. He knows what's going on. He's going to go around the map, or he's going to go around the hill, and he's going to. So now this right here is a perfect example of some map awareness, not just by looking at the map, but looking at what got destroyed. So we knew where the prototype was, right? So we know the 54 lightweight most likely moved from his position at A3 to go down there to spot the prototype for the artillery to kill. So that gives us a pretty good idea that the 54 lightweight's most likely on the A line right now, and he's motoring south, right? So that gives us that definitely makes the Skoda's move now even more important, because he knows he's not going to get shot from where the T-54 lightweight's at, and he's most likely going to be moving that way anyway. So now here comes our Skoda, kills the E4, right? So now the Skoda, knowing full well what's happening with that 54 lightweight, he's going to make a run back for base. He's going, because he's paid attention to this game, right? He knows that the 28 died because he got spotted by the 54 lightweight, which means the 54 lightweight had to be on the A line. And that means he's heading south, right? So the Skoda, he goes back around the corner, reloads his clip. He's sitting here waiting, and most likely he will eventually, like I said, he's going to start heading back toward the south with the 54 lightweight, because obviously now he's 54 lightweight's been spotted, and he's going after our artillery. So now I know over here his last spot was the artillery, so obviously I'm looking for his dumbass. And the Skoda, he's still, I think he's kind of waiting here for to see if I can pop anything, and then he's going to turn south and head back for the 54 lightweight, because he actually has, with his clip, he can actually take the 54 lightweight and not worry about it. So now that we know that we're down two to two tanks here, we have the artilleries here and the 54 lightweights here. So we're thinking to ourselves, we got a pretty good chance of probably finishing this. So I'm kind of rumble along here with the big old T-30, looking for me a big fat artillery player, and blah blah. Here we go. Boom! Whoops! There he is. Too late. So thank God for the stun, for the nerf from the artery, or I would have been dead in that situation. Those sneaky artillery players. Now, here's the other part of the game. We are currently sitting at one Skoda, one T-30 versus a T-44 lightweight. Now, you do not ever want to hunt a lightweight tank, a light tank in general. You do not want to hunt them as little as possible. A competent light player will sit in the bush, he'll wait till you, he'll ambush you, he'll move, wait, ambush you. It's just a continuous clusterfuck, especially if you're in a T-30. We don't have the view range to go out and hunt something like that. Skoda's probably got a better chance, but once again, a competent 54 lightweight, he's going to sit, he's just going to take one shot, he's going to hit you, then he's going to move, and he's going to motor, and he's going to set up somewhere else and do it, right? So it's never a real good idea to hunt those light tanks. Obviously if you have much more health than they do, it's not a bad idea, you can go do it, but both of us are sitting pretty low. So what I'm going to do now is exactly what the enemy team should have did in the first place, right? I was really tempted here to turn around and go after the 54 lightweight, and somewhere about here it kind of dawned on me and went, you know what, fuck it, it ain't worth us chasing that tank down, right? So I make a beeline for the cap, and this is the reason you go to cap is, okay, I'm not going to hunt him. I don't want to hunt him down, right? Because I'm probably going to lose. So we can get in position, we go to cap, and we can sit on cap. Because what's that going to do? He's going to have to come to you. He's going to have to make the decision, lose the game or try to win the game, right? So now you see where I sit on the cap here, right? I can sit anywhere on this big round circle, but I'm taking advantage of the fact that right now this is my best friend. I'm actually below sight range for him, right? So he cannot, the only place he can pop me is right there, and I have a Skoda coming up there, so I know he's not going to come there. So that means he's only going to be able to show maybe in this corner, or he's going to have to drive straight across, which is going to be pretty hard to do because there's going to be a Skoda sitting on that hill here shortly. So what I'm doing is I'm just sitting here. He's either got one choice. He either loses, or he loses by cap, or he makes a try for this. And this is what I'm doing. This is what they should have did at the very beginning of the game, when they had the complete control of the 7 through 0 line. But they didn't. They kept pushing. They kept wanting to. They kept wanting that damage, which I get. That's part of the game. So hopefully some of my explanations, will help you out here a little bit about what's going on, or how the game's played, or at least on that map awareness side of it. Some of the little things you can think about as you watch the map. I try to slow down some of it, and so you can get an idea of why we do what we do, or why people do what they do on these kind of maps. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys later.